So it's time we answered a viewer email. Somebody wrote in and said they're having a problem with rabbits in the garden, and here's a good example. The rabbits have been totally eating this ice plant, and they've been chewing on the new blooms of the penstemons. The best way, of course, is if you can fence them out. Sometimes you can just fence with some chicken wire around the individual plants. In the case of the penstemons, that would help, because once they grew up, they wouldn't bother them. But the ice plant, they're going to constantly bother. The other solution is to add some plants that kind of repel rabbits, or they at least don't like to eat, like lavender or even rosemary. It's just too aromatic and it kind of repels them away. Or plant plants that are not going to eat at all. This is a great example, this Euphorbia rigida. It's also called gopher plant. They're not going to eat that. It's actually poisonous to them. Duo Design Group has a reputation for creatively working with the natural environment. And with me today is their principal landscape architect, Tracy Adams. Welcome, Tracy.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you for having me.
So I understand you were charged with working with a relatively small space on this large property. Why don't you set the scene for what was here and what you had to do?
Well, the client was put in a position where they had to do a pretty extensive remodel, which entailed remodeling their bathroom. And they really had this beautiful view to Camelback Mountain, which was the driving factor in developing this patio. But they wanted it to be a special place and a place where they could sit and have private lunch, but also enjoy, like as you can see behind me, this water feature that we developed in the back, that it would be something that would be very special and enjoyable for her while she's at her vanity and taking long lounging tubs.
Kind of creates a really cool vignette to constantly be able to look at.
Absolutely.
But what was here before? You had a little retaining wall or something?
Yeah, the retaining wall that you see behind me, the stone, continued, and so the space, but the walkway between the house and the retaining wall was very narrow. So what we had to do was to peel back the grade to be able to install this beautiful boulder waterfall, and then continue to peel the grade back a little further to enlarge and allow us to have this nice sitting area for her to do private lunches with her girlfriends. And this is really intended to be a private patio.
Now, what were the challenges? I mean, you don't have a lot of access to get to here, do you?
No, we don't. And that was definitely a big challenge. And so we had to access it by the street. And coming up from that area, of course, caused some construction damage, which then we had to go back in and re-veg in a very artful, nice way to make it look really natural. And as you yourself saw, that it was really even impossible to tell that that's where they came from.
You had to create your own road to get up there with the equipment, especially with some of these large boulders. I understand a boulder back there was almost as big as a guy.
Yeah, they called it a small car. So we had to get a pretty nice backhoe in here, and then very creative team that were able to do a combination of pushing and then lifting to get that into place.
Well, the plantings you have here are really pretty. It has a real nice natural feel, but you got some challenges with the wildlife, don't you?
Absolutely. And you know, we've got an issue with the javelina, we've got an issue with the rabbits, and right now we're still in the process of trying to figure out maybe something that would be less appealing to the rabbits. And it seems like for the moment the javelina have decided to visit elsewhere on the property and are not bothering our private garden up here.
Well, I got to tell you, Tracy, the end result here is just absolutely beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for having us out here.
Yeah, thank you.
Up next, we head back to the gorgeous house with a view to see the spectacular pool and patios. Stick around.